I've been doing a lot of research. I'm going to show you what I've got on my browser here. Using Chrome at this point. Well, the darkmail I have promoted on Internet-Global. And if you don't know about this yet, it's kind of an evolution of LavaBit. And but really, I mean, this video here is going to focus on the geopolitical military aspect, not so much the communications and technology, but it's all tied together. Okay, here's on socialism is workers, dictatorship, blogspot.com. What is this one? Okay, this is the Red Scare, which was a footnote to Chris Hedges' article that was in, let's see, American Socrates. He was actually talking about Chomsky, so it was hot linked, and that's why I opened that up. Here's the article. And I also watched the video that is referred in here on like Chomsky's shocking take on socialism and Leninism. You know, which, hey, it's not shocking to me at all. I don't take the same view on Chomsky as Chris Hedges does. I also don't take the same position on the supposed success of the Occupy movement. Not to be a pessimist, just what I consider more realism. Comments at the end of the Chris Hedges article were telling. This one from Adrian Kuzminski is interesting, maybe quite balanced with some valid points there, but here is, wait a second, I think here's something a little bit more cynical from USA Needs Communism. Noam Chomsky is a revisionist, a reformist, a traitor of communists in the U.S. He's a part of the anti-communist left. So, and this is where I got referred to that. It actually wasn't from Chris Hedges. It was from this commenter. And that's where the other article was. So this USA Needs Communism labeled person, whoever they are, someone responded to them, no, Chomsky is being analytical in his speech. In fact, he is an anarchist. All right, yeah. Chomsky's an anarchist. Yeah. Yeah, if he's literally an anarchist, he wouldn't have the position that he does. He's in a position of hierarchy. Anarchist, a true anarchist wouldn't. Just like Lenin wouldn't be a true socialist because that's a hierarchy, and that is basically a re-assimilation to become totalitarian or imperialistic. So, well, we're not going to go into a deep analysis of government systems here as much as I would like to. What I want to do right here is talk about okay, so JesseVentura, as much as I do respect his position, he's a different kind of a politician. He held an office, he was a governor. Now he's a critic, and he has his own form of patriotism. Maybe he's a libertarian, maybe not. I was a libertarian, half-heartedly maybe, just in an experimental way. I am in their registry. I don't want to hide that fact, but I'm also giving you the honesty is that I don't belong to anybody else's party. I've created a party. So as soon as I get my ideas collated and codified and released, then it will be open to anyone else. But let's talk about the issue of the tension in the Middle East, the conflict, because we really have to have an analysis here. And I'm going to tell you that you don't hear this kind of talking in the other people that you listen to. So I'm sure you listen to Alex Jones, you listen to The Real News, you listen to Rye Dawson. What else do you listen to? You listen to RT. Here, this is an RT, heavily funded. I'll call it a alternative mainstream, and that's really what it should be. I am not like a Rachel Maddow or Anderson Cooper, those that do what I call empty speak, and that's published, and I explain what that is and give you plenty of examples furnished for your edification. Empty speak basically is pseudo-intellectual. It's the elitist way of dumbing people down when they have questions, but you always have to have the questions. It's your mind that needs to rise above. Even though you might not be a powerful person, you may not have that leadership quality or the nerve to do that, but at least in your brain, you need to be able to figure things out. That's why I think people come here, they listen. I do not get as many views because I talk about things differently. I don't just hammer on one really small area of subject matter or issues and always go to that. You know, I cover science, I cover arts, I cover all kinds of things while I also cover war. So that's why I think people get caught up in everyone else before they end up coming back around to my more well-rounded, complete picture that I'm giving you of reality, which is hard because I'm supposed to stay on the subject. So the thing about the war is this. We go back to the Balfour Declaration. We go back to the fact that the Zionists started with Herzl approaching the British, forming his organization, filing it in London, along with the money people, the banks, and bringing on board some of the Jewish money, the Rothschilds and such. But in the midst of all this funding and this foment for World War I, so it's interesting that we talk about Chomsky here and his erudite take on the so-called socialism, Bolshevism, into Trotskyism, Leninism, and then Stalinism, isms, and also we've got to talk about Maoism. I think that people sometimes just focus on the European thing and don't quite understand Mao as well. Further to the east, even though the Soviet Union went further to the east by land, it in fact almost overlaps. It does overlap with Alaska. Now, if you consider that the Middle East was formed by making totally artificial borders that lack reality, and what you will get over a number of decades and generations is just compounding the confusion and the frustration that the people will have there, but it's not unlike the making of other modern nations, and most of the modern world that we look at is still needing a lot of adjustment. So we're going to have adjustment right now after this war. But I say after this war, when will it be the end or the conclusion to it? We at this rate with the methods that they're using, there will not be any end, and it'll just be continually readjusting the borders or the war to get the border pinned down. We need to talk about the people that are running things and how they're getting their power, where they are, allied with, and the Iraqis seem to be a conglomeration of different peoples and divisions within Islam, modern Islam. And just as with Christianity, I think we have to relate everything to the denominations, if you want to call them denominations. They also are factions because they're militarized now. So we have the connotation of faction going on in religion. They also are calling it sectarianism now. And there is a popular term that is, we hearken back to World War I, World War II, and it's called balkanization. So we need to understand why they're talking about that and why these are these familiar terms and phrases and why they keep hammering these as to deepen the quagmire we were in just from the get-go of the words that are being used to understand a situation. And not only that, mix in the whole idea of terrorism. What is basically going on with the powers that be? These are not civil wars. JesseVentura here has stated that we should